Welcome back to K-Ratio's Week in Preview. I'm Kyle Littner and I'm here today to give you actionable insight for the future, not recap the past. In this week's episode, we unfortunately revisit coronavirus. But this time we're going to keep it high level and we're going to keep it under one theme: reducing risk. No matter what you are, whether you're a shipper, carrier, or 3PL, you have direct underlying risk tied to coronavirus. So we're going to do our best to help identify it so that you can then reduce the risk. Now, first off, conditions in China continue to improve. Late last week, reports stated that manufacturing facilities were 100% back online with productivity between 60 to 70% as the workforce is still returning. This is a tremendous first step in the right direction. Now, domestically, as anyone who's visited a grocery store knows, there are no supplies of major goods on shelves. Now, this has two important but contrasting effects for our industry. First off, this is extremely bullish to rates. Freight volumes are at historic highs as retailers literally cannot keep pace with consumer demand. The spot market and expedited freight have come to life and done so with a fury. Tender rejections increased more than 30% last week and rates per mile followed suit. Now, where we go from here is where it gets tricky. Since all of the volume surge can be attributed to consumer panic buying, and since human consumption is relatively constant, what we're going to see is possibly a demand free fall late this week, but most likely next week. Think about it. If you just purchased 2 weeks worth of food, what are you going to buy next week? What does the retailer have to restock next week? Nothing. With every major sporting event, with every major conference, restaurants, bars, schools closed, what little demand we may have will not be in consumer staples, and this has a tremendous effect on volume. Couple that with little to no business at the ports, and we have a drastically different looking picture for freight. So what does that mean for you? If you're a shipper, expect rejections from your providers, whether they're carriers or 3PLs. Production will be sporadic and inconsistent, and if there are shortfalls on one end, it might manifest itself in your company even if you're not the ones experiencing the production shortfalls. Think about it. If a carrier has to pick up a load somewhere else destined for your location, and that load's been rejected, there's a pretty good chance he's not going to be able to take your load. Now, this is partly to blame for soaring increase in tender rejection seen nationally. A slight disruption in the supply chain pattern several states away can and will affect your business. Now imagine the disruptions caused by this global pandemic. If you're a carrier, same goes but the inverse. A customer might cancel their loads due to production halts, and that will affect your other business that follows along from that. This is probably going to force you into the spot market to keep the wheels moving. Now, if you're a 3PL, you'll have both aspects. Inconsistent volumes and business due to your dedicated freight will force you to offset that lost business inside of the spot market. The twist for all three participants is going to be rates. Rates will be extremely volatile and irrational, but port cities will act like backhauls as there is no volume, but markets with large distribution centers will be king. Think about markets like Stockton, Harrisburg, and Columbus. They've all seen massive spikes in volume and subsequently rates, and this will continue for the rest of the week. It's next week that becomes the issue, as this business will dry up and the unknown is for how long. The longer the isolation of America, the longer depressed volumes persist. For everyone, try to do your best to get ahead of these events. Work with your providers. If you have to cancel or alter a load, that's fine. No one's going to care about that. That's to be expected. But the more time given, the better the transitions will be. Nobody wants to hear about these issues 2 hours before pickup. Remember, we're all in this together. So the more that we can do to get ahead of these things, the better it's going to be for all of us. What are you doing specifically at your company to help soften the impact of coronavirus? We'd like to hear from you, so leave your comments below. And for more information on risk management, reducing the volatility to your bottom line, and dynamic pricing even in this extreme environment, check us out at k-ratio.com. Thank you again for watching.